The hottest pop culture stories of the day. This is Hot to Go. I'm Brittany.
I'm Kendall.
And I'm Mike.
Okay, things are getting really ugly in the Beckham household. Do you guys remember just a couple of weeks ago, we were telling you there were some rumors that Brooklyn was not speaking to his brother Romeo? The rumor was that because Romeo's dating some girl that one time dated Brooklyn, who is now happily married to his wife and has been for a while, that they were having a rift. There was a feud. Well, little tea started sprinkling out after that all over. And it was like, well, it's not really with Romeo. It might actually be with the whole family versus Brooklyn. Mike, I know you've talked about this in the blinds, that Victoria, Mama Victoria Beckham, has never been a huge fan of Brooklyn's wife, Nicola Peltz.
Yeah, we've always had that kind of bubbling under the surface of the blind item world.
And wasn't there a lot of drama too around their wedding?
Yes.
Because who was paying for what? And then the Nicola's family ended up not wanting to pay for things that they had bought, or treated staff badly, or there was a report that they canceled last minute on a big group of people.
Well, and her parents are bajillionaires, are they not?
Yeah.
They're richer than the Beckhams.
Yeah, you've got Beckham rich, and then you got the Peltz rich, which is absolutely insanity.
But the only difference is the Beckhams know, we can't have missteps where we treat people badly because we're so public facing. I know the Peltz are well known, but not to the extent that you don't pay somebody. There will be repercussions for the Beckhams.
Well, over at the Beckham household, David just celebrated his 50th birthday. It was a big old party back in March. We learned yesterday, just as of Monday morning, May 5th, we found out that Brooklyn and his wife, Nicola, had come, but had said they only wanted to have a little private celebration. They didn't want to go to the big party, the big lavish to-do. They didn't want to draw any attention. They just wanted to say happy birthday. And we're told, nope, you can either come to the party or don't come at all. As of today, May 6th, we're learning that's not the case at all. This is all just completely nonsense. It's appalling that they would even use those rumors. Sources close to Dad, David Beckham, are saying the family just can't deal with this nonsense anymore. And they're they just decided not to come. Dang. They never said, Brooklyn and his wife, Nicola, never said, oh, you know what, we just don't want to come to the party, but can we see you beforehand? Nope. That was a bold-faced lie. They just literally didn't come.
Dang.
It's just sad. It's ugly.
Yeah.
It's weird because this has always seemed like a family that's very close.
Yes.
And they've had to be because their parents, think about Posh at the top of Posh Spice Girl fame.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, David Beckham is David freaking Beckham at that point, the height of his soccer career.
Yeah.
That's when these guys were all born. That's when all three brothers, and then Harper, their daughter, came along a little bit later, but they were this really tight-knit family. And to have so much speculation behind it, and then it was when there's smoke, there's definitely fire, because this is clearly a situation. If you are not attending your father, David Beckham's huge blowout 50th birthday, that's a statement.
50th birthday. And they had formal photos with the whole family that Brooklyn wasn't there for. All these things, and you go, you don't just miss out on that.
No.
I also know some of a big guest that kind of now has solidified them as a couple. We've got Tom Cruise and Ana de Armas also rolled up to the 50th. So that was in the photos as well.
So is Gordon Ramsay. Oh, wait. What did you just say?
Solidify them as a couple?
Well, whatever. If they're not real, they're solidified as not at least a fake relationship.
Well, we've seen them in the helicopters together, in the cars together. We know they're together, in quotes, publicationship. Both have a movie coming out in the next 3 weeks.
Yes. Yeah. They keep showing a picture of her holding this little dog as her stock photo. And I'm always is she bringing that on the plane? I'm like, oh no, this has nothing to do with the story. I think that's one of her AP photos is her holding this little dog.
I think she just doesn't want to be alone with Tom Cruise.
I think I can relate. I think none of us want to be alone with Tom.
They will not be together by September. I'll just say that.
When does her movie come out?
No, both of their movies come out in the next month. But I'm just saying by early fall, they are definitely going to be moved past this.
I wonder where your stock goes, up or down, in Hollywood relationships, being somebody who dated Tom Cruise.
Great question. Suri Surrey, his daughter. That says it right there. Katie Holmes did nothing after they dated. She's really done nothing.
Yeah.
Movie wise, like she's been famous because she's famous.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah.
And she dated Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
It is wild. Tell us what you think in the comments here on YouTube. Like, subscribe, share it. Tell us what you think. Will they be together by September? Mike says no.
Yeah, I think
like no.
I'll write that down so we can check in September.
Also,
I'll
Brittany,
put that on our schedule.
Oh, good. Put it on your little notebook that you write so many things in.
Thanks.
Brittany just mentioned, I wanted to look this up because you were mentioning the wedding of Nicola Peltz and Brooklyn Beckham and how this kind of all started then. Nicola did not wear the gown that Victoria Beckham designed for her.
That's what it was.
Wow.
She refused to wear it. Nothing was ever said why, but we know that Victoria created a custom gown for her son's wife. And by the way, Victoria's fashion line is like, people love her clothing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like she's just some, my mother-in-law with a sewing kit. Like, she has couture gowns and she decided not to wear it. Then Nicola's father launched legal action against the wedding planners because he claimed that they couldn't handle the expectations of the star-studded guest list.
Yeah, and he refused to pay him, didn't he? That was like a big thing is he was suing them saying, I don't want to pay this.
Yeah, because and then those people, the planners, had a countersuit alleging that Nicola and her mother didn't want Brooklyn's family didn't want the Beckham family to know just how messy everything had gotten.
Yes, that's what I remember. I didn't know the dress thing. That to me is like the biggest slap in the face.
How shady boots is that?
What did the dress look like? You know what I mean? Like, what does the dress look like that she designed?
I mean, Victoria Beckham, again, like, she's a style icon to so many people. So she's classic tailored fit. Like, I don't know how it could be weird.
I will say this. No, I mean, I agree with you. Like, she's not eccentric with she does classic wear.
Mm-hmm.
It would be weird if Victoria was like, I got this without any say from Nicola. Like, that's a little weird. And you can kind of understand. But I will say this, no matter what, I can't imagine Victoria Beckham took it well that she didn't wear it.
So drama with the Beckhams continues.
Yeah. I got to tell you guys, Justin Bieber, things aren't getting better. It's actually kind of getting worse. Justin Bieber, as we know, has recently been on social media kind of in a contrarian mood, just being like, I love drugs. And oh man, like it just really it's feeling like MySpace, early 2000s, just to showcase it. Like, I know how to do drugs. I had alcohol and this is where we're at.
And my top friend is Tom.
Justin Bieber wanted to make it very clear. I mean, it's funny because they're like acting like this was an accident. There's a picture on his Instagram of a guy playing a guitar. In the not so hidden background is Justin Bieber on a giant bong outside. And people are like, oh, it was obviously a mistake. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. He's wearing a bright red sweatshirt.
Look at me.
And it's not even hidden. Like, that is him smoking a giant bong. I think we're still in our I want to be naughty era. I think there's something about having this kid really has put him in a spiral. I don't know.
We're going to talk more about the Met Gala later on this hour.
Yes.
Like around 3:40, we're going to do a full deep dive. But Haley showed up at the Met Gala looking fine as hell. She never goes too hard on any of, her looks are always going to be pretty just
simplistic.
Simple, run of the mill, but look fantastic because they're tailored to perfection for her.
Yeah, I mean, I think this was a miss for her, but it's fine. Like, you're right. Like, you shouldn't expect, she doesn't go too eccentric.
No. And she's never going to do anything that might, in the next day, people go, oh my gosh, what did she do?
She went with Kendall Jenner, and they kind of did like a matching look. It was little like a play on a suit with a deep cut on it, like a skirt suit or like a suit that's turned into a dress, kind of a dress coat. It was fine. It existed, but two girls got to go out and hang out and go to the Met Gala. Perfect. Mama needs
100%.
a night out.
100%. Like, that's what I'm getting at is like, at least she got to, thank God she got to go out, because I can't imagine what that home life is like right now.
I know.
Even if she's still madly in love with him and all of our speculation is just that speculation, when she goes home and she has to hear this constantly and see it herself and live the experience of this guy who's just high as a kite, because he's going to be high as a kite taking some of these hits that he takes.
Oh, yeah, for a while. That's going to sink in for a while. I want to say that he's still in, what did we say, Sweden, Switzerland?
He's in Iceland. He's just I'm going through his Instagram right now. He's doing a big Iceland photo dump. He also just about an hour ago posted a picture singing into a mic and doing the thing, because he was supposed to go on this trip to finish the album.
Yeah. And then there was speculation that this was actually a rehab, which I feel like these photos are telling us, hey, I'm not at a rehab, guys. Like, I think he's in the comment section, and this is his way of making sure we know.
100%. That is, I think, to end the speculation that this might be, I'm going away to get help.
Yeah, he's like, no. Nope. If anything, I'm going to solidify. Maybe I'm going to dig this hole a little deeper. You're right, though, Kendall. Like, her home life, Hailey Bieber's home life has to be so annoying. I also think this guy, we talk about you don't progress at a certain age, once you become famous, and he's kind of stuck at, like, I want to even say 13, maybe, even though he got big way before that. I just have to, like, mention that I'm sure he's walking around saying and doing the same things all the time. Maybe talking about being annoyed with Selena, talking about how he's been wronged by A, B, and C. And it feels like that's got to be so, I just find him to be stuck.
Oh, I 100% agree. I don't think that he goes home and is like, what can we do to progress our relationship?
Totally.
What can I do for you, honey?
How can I support you and the baby today?
Is Jack going to go tomorrow? Is he going to swim lessons, or is that the day Nani comes over?
Yeah.
Like, that boy has nothing to do with any of the day-to-day planning or like trying to.
Yeah. Like, I wanted to go for a run. Should I grab a babysitter?
Yeah.
I'm not going to just assume I don't see him doing that.
I think if he said to Hailey, I'm going to go for a run, she'd be like, oh, wow, that's like, I'm really happy you're doing something good for your health.
Yeah, I know. But like, I then, maybe who's going to watch the kid? Like, you know what I mean? Like the assumption that I did all those things where you go, I don't foresee him doing that.
Nope.
But cool. He smokes weed. That's neat. Cool. Nobody can do that.
Congratulations.
It's so neat. You're so cool.
Amy Lou Wood was at the Met Gala last night, and it would seem that she's attempting to put those feud rumors to bed. As you know, anybody who's watched White Lotus or has stayed up in the know with all of us, Amy Lou Wood and Walton Goggins, which we have accidentally called Amy Lee Wood and Walter Goggins. Those are their ugly stepsisters and brothers. They were
also dating.
Yeah, we're also dating. They were co-stars on this last season of White Lotus at the beginning of the show, so this doesn't give anything away because I only watched the first episode. They come to the White Lotus together. So they're in a lot of intimate scenes together.
Yes.
Okay. There was all of these rumors that there was either some sexual tension going on, something may have happened. He unfollowed her and blocked her on Instagram. And neither of them has really said jack squat about this feud. In fact, Walton Goggins has specifically gotten up and left interviews when it comes up because he gets so ticked off that people dare ask him about this feud that we're like, okay, but you're clearly feuding because you're not talking to each other and you blocked her on social media.
Yeah, the blocking was like, okay, what's happening?
So wild. So she's on the red carpet last night, or the blue carpet at the Met Gala, and someone asked her about him, and she said, I loved working with Walton Goggins. She was like, it was the best thing ever. I'm so excited for him to be doing SNL. I think this is perfect for him. It's going to be hilarious. I'm so excited to see it. There's been speculation that she might jump in on this one of the scenes, because that would kind of put everything to bed. And she said earlier, she'd said she couldn't say if she'd be there. She couldn't say. And this time she clarified, I'm not doing that. But they did avoid each other on the blue carpet.
Yeah, which is crazy because she attended it with the co-star Patrick Schwarzenegger. So and they took a cast picture at the party with Lisa. So some of them got together. But I will say this, I don't think it's that crazy. I know, here's the thing. I know we want them to have some romance. I don't think it's that crazy that these three people, Patrick Schwarzenegger, Amy Lou Wood, and Lisa from Blackpink, would get along and be kind of kikiing. And Walton Goggins is in his 50s. I don't think it's that nuts. It's like when you find your work friends, and it's not that crazy that somebody 20 something years older is doing something else at the party.
Very true. Very true.
And she's even talked about that too, because they had season 3 of White Lotus. When they had the finale, they had this big party and everyone was like, oh, you're going to be there. Everyone was there. All those 3 people you just mentioned were at that party. I think maybe Lisa wasn't. Obviously, she's a little busy. But it was a comment that Amy Lou Wood made where she was like, it was very Rick of, because this character is Rick, right? I think it was his character.
I think his name, yeah, Rick. Yeah, that sounds
Rick.
like it.
I think it's like, it was very Rick of him to not show up to this party because Walton Goggins was obviously not there.
He doesn't seem like a guy who wants to hang out with 20-year-olds when they're not filming. And and again, like I could go either way with it. Like this either could be a thing, but I also go, this does have the makings of he's just not in their clique. And, you know, Lucius Malfoy made it very clear that it was very cliquey in Thailand.
Jason Isaacs, for those who aren't fans of Harry Potter.
Who isn't?
But like,
never seen it.
I don't know that actor's name. I'll never retain that man has a name.
Did you just hear, Mike, that he's never seen Harry Potter?
You've already gotten mad at him for this.
I think I actually watched mad at him for it all my life.
I was waiting for the Met Gala red carpet, so I watched the final hour of Deathly Hallows Part 2 in the background yesterday.
So you saw the finale?
R.I.P.
Oh, that's the end of it all?
The very end of a 7-book and 8-movie series. Yeah, you saw the last hour?
Shucks.
In my defense, I also watched it and was not doing a great job talking on this show.
At least she said it. Am I right?
Am I right, Queen?
Oh, man.
Kendall really carried that bus, so.
It was heavy.
Carrying a bus would be. After I said the analogy, I go, that's not a real one.
Nope. It's real heavy.
She really carried that ship.
Wonder Woman.
Carried the load. Does not sound right. All right. Well, we'll see. I think SNL, if they don't reference her at all, I'm going to say it's a thing.
Yeah.
Bet.
Yeah. Like if they don't reference her at all, then I go, this is an actual thing where he came in and said, I don't want to talk about this.
Which he's already done.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just feel like if you really wanted to squash the rumors, like people are saying, oh, she's buried the hatchet. Because by the way, they are now following each other on Instagram. That was the other thing that we saw in the last 24 hours is they are back to following whichever one wasn't following whichever one or whoever was blocked. Yeah. They're now following each other on Instagram once again. So that was the other big news where people were like, oh, they buried the hatchet. Well, then take a picture together. You're in the same place.
You're in the same place. Yeah. It would make things so much better for you. But like, again, she should jump on SNL quick.
It'd be great.
It'd be funny. And also we'd go, all right, these two are just getting along. They get along fine. It's just a 50-year-old and a 30-year-old that are not hanging out at parties together, which it's not so. He's kind of like a little bit on the cranky side.
That's why she thinks he's hot. She being Brittany.
You know who was also not at the Met Gala last night?
Ooh.
Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. There had been rumors all week long that they might attend. What would she wear? What wouldn't she wear? Brittany, I'm just bringing this up because, you know, running through the blind items, I saw this story and I just asked myself, Taylor Swift doesn't normally have any PR inconsistencies.
No, that's clean as a whistle.
Tree pain keeps her on point. They know what it's going to be. They know what the narrative is going to be for every situation.
Yeah.
You go to one source like TMZ and say, oh, exclusive sources say that Taylor and Travis are just so busy. They've been traveling all over the place and they just couldn't find time to go to the Met Gala. Then you look elsewhere and they say, Taylor and Travis are loving living the low-key life after being everywhere a few months ago and are just enjoying a nice quiet night in rather than going to the Met Gala. Those are two different stories. And that just begs the question, why is there inconsistencies? And does this maybe mean they might not be together anymore?
I'm so glad you brought this up.
Thank you.
Because, listen, there is a weak link in the chain. And his name is Travis Kelce. I don't think he also does a podcast once a week and just says whatever. And he's used to just saying whatever. This man has done this so many times where there's like a public statement like, hey, this is where we fall on this. And I'm sure there was a bunch of meetings about Taylor Swift and her team that said, this is how we're formally going to say this. And then as soon as this guy gets on air, he literally has leaked so many random things where he's like, yeah, I've been listening to a lot of new music lately. And they're like, are they hinting that Taylor Swift's making new music? This man hasn't thought about and as I can relate, does not think about anything he's saying in the history of ever. So in conclusion,
It's Travis's fault.
It's Travis's fault.
Mm,
So show us the dog. Where's this dog?
okay, but
Mm.
just playing devil's advocate here.
Does the devil need an advocate?
He
Sometimes.
does.
Somebody
Needs to like him. Maybe they are broken up.
What?
Well, the unfollowing heard around the world was so wild when Travis Kelce unfollowed Ryan
But
Reynolds.
don't you feel like that's actually solidifies that they're together and that Taylor's actually pissed at Blake and Ryan? So much so that Travis may have messaged Ryan and got pissed more at him.
To be fair, the only reason I don't believe that is because you have convinced me that she is not just going to leave the close family friend who, by the way, she's the godmother of their children off on the side of the road. So I don't think there's going to be a situation where she just says, no, we're done talking to Ryan and Blake. We're mad at them.
I'm with you. I still believe that she may have gone back and been like, oh, that now I'm involved in this lawsuit. And Travis maybe even messaged Ryan like a big old what's going on? Or like something where he got pissed because she would never tell him to unfollow her or unfollow Ryan.
You're exactly right. So when he unfollowed Ryan, you're proving our point.
Yeah,
does that mean they're not together anymore?
They're together.
Like he doesn't want to be associated with any of her people anymore.
But that's the most random one. It's not like she's hanging out with Ryan Reynolds one-on-one. It's not like him seeing Ryan Reynolds posts is going to anger him because of Taylor Swift.
No.
Oh, he was hacked.
It feels like it feels like Trouble in Paradise.
Well, that's not what paradise is. There's no trouble. They're in Florida. They're walking the dog.
Florida.
I guess under there's a bunch of decoy dogs. We can't see the dog, I guess.
Yeah, why can't we see the dog?
That's something that weirds me out.
Like I really do think the Lady Gaga effect of Lady Gaga's dogs being stolen shook people like a Taylor Swift in their boots going, okay, then I guess I have to be really careful in the same way that a lot of celebrities are very careful about showing their children publicly in their children's faces. Maybe Taylor's just like, I don't want you to see my dog. I don't want you to try to kidnap my dog because I'm sure it's a rescue. I'm sure it's a very unique looking dog.
I don't think it's a rescue.
You don't think so?
No, I actually think that they hinted at the breed too. I don't know. I don't think it's a rescue. I don't think any of her cats are rescues.
She seems like someone who would be like, look at me. You should also rescue.
I think her cat's a Scottish fold, and that's rare in rescue. But highly recommend getting a rando street cat.
And naming it Kevin.
It's the best thing that's ever happened to me. I don't care how expensive your cats are. Somebody I've actually, embarrassingly enough, bought a cat before. It's shameful.
Where?
From where?
Yeah, I don't know where you do buy cats.
This was from Wisconsin. It was like a breed.
Well, that's more embarrassing than anything.
I
Hey,
had to
no offense, you guys.
I had to drive there. It was like 5 hours away.
What breed of cat?
It was a Savannah cat, which is kind of like a Bengal. And this is mortifying. This is me in my 20s. And I bought a cat.
So Savannah cat, tell me more. So are they like a super rare breed?
They are. I think his Kitty Cash's great grandpa was a Serval, which is these big African cats. It's crazy.
So what you're telling me is that you're actually Gucci about cats.
One time. And
that's
then
all it takes.
But that's my first cat, and it was for a boyfriend. I bought it for a boyfriend, and then I ended up keeping Kitty Cash because obviously I fall madly in love. And now I acquired a cat, an old street cat with a cutout ear that somebody cut it out when they neutered him. Like absolute trash cat. Best cat I've ever had in my life. If you're paying for a cat, is embarrassing. You should be embarrassed.
Meredith Grey and Olivia Benson, both the Scottish folds, those were probably paid for. But Benjamin Button, who was featured in the Time Person of the Year shoot, was a rescue on the scene of Me. Yes. Wow.
That got creepy. Hey, like, follow, and subscribe our YouTube. And by the way, if you are listening and going, what? Yes, we post this on YouTube. Search Hot to Go on the My Talk 1071 YouTube page.